So the band name for this band is written Alvvays with two V's in the middle, but apparently it's pronounced Always, and they spelt it differently because there was already a band on the same label with the name Always, and they just wanted to be Always. So they called themselves that and changed the spelling. They are a Canadian band. They're centered around their singer-songwriter who's called Molly Rankin. They were formed in 2011. They have released 3 albums and they're still going. Hi, my name is Dan, and this is a mini review of the album Always by Alvvays. It was their first album, and it's my first time listening to it, and apparently it caused a bit of a stir with critical acclaim when it was released. It is the second Alvvays album to be reviewed on this channel, so there was another one lower down in the list that I'm working my way through. And we've got various genres that are being claimed for this. So what I'm often doing is I'm looking at the genre, which is what you get on the introduction stuff, which is what Acclaimed music says that it is. I'm also, my major source of information is Wikipedia, like it is for many people, and they tend to list genres for albums as well. So Acclaimed Music calls this twee pop. I'm not sure about that. I would call it indie pop, maybe. It's somewhat dreamy, so it's got elements of dream pop in there. So twee pop's a nice kind of label for it. I'm not sure I've heard that before. I'm also not sure that I would say that it is as twee, maybe, as that implies. Twee is kind of cute. In case you haven't come across that term, there's a great Japanese term which is kawaii for this, which is just cute. Sometimes, right, so there's description. Sometimes there's mildly jangly guitars. Sometimes it's more kind of indie guitars. So by indie guitars, what I tend to mean is, electric guitars, somewhat overdriven and played in such a way that you get this constant sound of it in the background. So pop, rock for a lot of years when the guitars were played, did a lot of start, stop, start, and like using palm muting to make them short. And indie rock kind of basically does zh, 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 so you've always got sound going through. So it's what I think of as the curtain, background curtain of guitar. And this sometimes has that. Most of it is reasonably upbeat and fast. So it's not, when I'm saying pop, it's not produced like, where are we, 2014? So a lot of pop that's in the charts these days, and I count this as 11 years ago, but this is still these days, to my mind, is very produced and very kind of, carefully crafted in the studio. And this doesn't have that feel. It feels more like a band. The thing that makes it poppy to my mind is that it's got hook lines and it's got this immediacy to it. That means it's easy to recognise, easy to get into. It's easy in, accessible, and to my mind, that's the essence of pop: is that something is very easy to listen to in that sense. So the female lead vocals here are Molly Rankin, and her voice is probably where this twee label has come from, because it does have this kind of sweetness to it. Sweetness in a kind of, oil sweet, kind of sugary way. It's somewhat reverbed and a little bit on the kind of dispassionate sound, so it makes it sound a bit distant, as if she's kind of just thinking about things. There's quite a bit of that same reverb on other stuff as well, and I think this is kind of characteristic of dream pop, so that's where that's coming into it. It actually makes the whole thing feel mildly lo-fi, as if it could have been recorded with a bit more clarity. It's not. It's slightly mushed with this reverb to give it that kind of feel of distance, I would say. The vocals remind me of other things. Maybe because I've reviewed an Alvvays album before, maybe it reminds me of Alvvays. But it does bring to mind some of the Cranberries stuff. Not Zombie, because that's a much more biting song than most of the rest of what they've got. Occasionally, some of the words filter through to my brain. So I found that some music, the words just kind of jump out at you and they take your attention, and it very much is the focus. For quite a lot of music, actually I'm not really listening to the words very much, but sometimes they kind of come through. And I would say at those points when they come through, 3 times out of 4, it kind of feels fairly standard. And maybe, again, the word "qui" is kind of, um, not objectionably so, but somewhat kind of cliched, maybe. And then occasionally, the other 1 time in 4, they're surprising. And there's little jarring moments of stuff that comes out and you go, what, really? And it kind of made me kind of sit up and listen. There's occasional swears in there that you just wouldn't expect from somebody with this sound. So it's got a little bit of a um, something to it in there. So did I like it? Eh, a little bit. I wanted to like it more than I actually did. I don't know if I can explain that. I think that's maybe just because of the name of the band. I like this idea of using 2 V's to make Always. It just seems slightly inventive, and I felt like I was hoping that the music would be more inventive than I actually found it to be. It's a bit too dreamy, and apart from this somewhat interesting dreamlike production, the rest of it, if it hadn't got that, I'm not sure it'd be on this list. I think it would be kind of a bit of an also round kind of thing. So it's okay, and that's what I think of this album. What do you think of this album? I'd love to know. Please do let me know, and especially if you disagree with me and you think this is brilliant, please do say so. That's what the comments box is for, so please use it. And that's it from me for now.